Hi, my name is Andre Wagner, and I'm a Civil War reenactor portraying Major William Watson, who was a doctor in 105th Pennsylvania. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the differences between two particular reproduction medical kits. The first being that made by Creek Mercantile in Oregon, and the second being made by Ed Archer. So let's get started first with the Mill Creek kit. The Mill Creek kit comes in a teak box, similar to that to the originals, all wood, and does come with a brass plate that can be engraved. It does have locking mechanisms on the front, makes it keep the contents inside. Upon opening up the kit, there's a nice green velvet lining in both the top compartment, the tray, and the bottom compartment. So let's start first with the top compartment. Inside the top compartment, the kit has one capital saw. The capital saw is made of a decent quality. It's not too wobbly whenever moving around, and does have a black or ebony handle made out of wood. It does have a checkering pattern that makes it a little bit easier to hang on to. The blade, somewhat dull, does cut through wood, as I've found out in the past doing different living history organized events and different things. And it does come with the G, Timon and Company engraving on the front blade, as you can see right here. Now the engraving seems to be a little bit deeper than what some of the originals were that I've identified, but being it's a Mill Creek kit, there's a little bit of differences between that and an original. The second piece that is up in the top compartment is going to be another saw, smaller for that of the smaller bones. It does have a nice handle on it as well as an ebony finish. This is also the hinged portion, and once again does have the engraving on it for the manufacturing company. Another piece found at the top will be the bandage scissors. The bandage scissors do actually cut. They are sharp and they do work. They actually work very nicely. This kit does come with a bone file. Pretty standard bone file. Once again with the engraving of the company made on it. The all too familiar director. Now this particular director compared to my original is a little bit more flimsy material, so I wouldn't advise putting a whole lot of pressure onto it. It is easy to be bent. And another piece that is in here, which can at times be difficult once it's wedged in. Is a pair of tissue forceps, and these particular tissue forceps do have the marking on as well. And the last piece that's in the top compartment is the Needleton Bullet Probe. This particular one is a metal rod with white enamel paint at both tips. Now moving along, in the next compartment we'll find several more instruments. First one being a pair of straight forceps. These are of decent quality, not too easily to bend. Another instrument would be your straight scissors. And the open ring forceps. Now my particular kit, I've added a few extra little odds and ends here which we'll take out just because of the video. And we have our bullet forceps. Now you'll see that these do differ from the Archer kit, which we'll be looking at next. And I'll be doing a close-up shot of all the different instruments so everyone can kind of see what exactly they look like in different patterns and different things that are on these. Now these are a heavier gauge, in my opinion, than what the Ed Archer ones are. and they have a finer chrome finish on them. But you'll see in the Ed Archer kit the differences in them. They do have a checkering pattern on the handles, and the teeth and the open end for the bullet extraction is a little bit wider and larger than that of the Ed Archer kit. And we have the bullet screw extractor, a pretty standard item, similar to that in the other reproduction kits. Now, one of the things I will point out, and it might be tough to see in the video, is the Mill Creek kit, the finish or the type of paint that they used for the handles and all the instruments has a higher gloss than that of the Archer kit. The Archer kit's more of a flat black ebony paint, and this has the higher gloss. This kit also comes with a bone brush. And now we'll get into the actual scalpels and tenaculums. First off, we have our straight scalpel. And as you can see, and hopefully can see, these do have a slot where the end of the blade is placed into the wooden handle itself. Now this is just a straight piece of wood. There's no checkering and nothing fancy done to it, and it's painted black. Another scalpel, the curved, the same as the previous one. It's inserted into a piece of wood. You can see the metal piece right in here. And the last scalpel, next to last scalpel rather, another straight scalpel, a little larger. And the last scalpel in the kit, another curved scalpel. This kit also comes with 3 tenaculums, all with varying angles and varying size. And these once again also all have the markings on for the manufacturer, and they are also a slot insert. So there's the first one, and our second one, and our third, which doesn't have quite as harsh angle like a fishhook on it. Now that's the top compartment. When we go into the bottom compartment, as you can see, everything is placed in there, has its own organization system, slots for each knife, a compartment for one of your tourniquets, field tourniquets, a compartment area for the larger petit tourniquet, and can also store some other little miscellaneous items. So let's first start with the tourniquets. This particular kit comes with 1 field tourniquet, and as you can see, it's pretty much standard field tourniquet with a belt buckle on it. And then the petit tourniquet. Now, it may be difficult to see in the video, but this one's going to vary from the Archer kit that we're going to look at next. This does not have the leather fob on it that applies pressure to the arteries and the veins, but is a fully functioning tourniquet. And this one also, once again, has the manufacturer's engraving on it. The kit also comes with 2 items of sutures, both with the manufacturer's information on it, one being steel and one being silk, along with needles, curved and straight. And the first item in the bottom of the case is going to be our Phalange saw or Phalange knife. And this has a slotted handle similar to the scalpels and the tenaculums, and an ebony checkered handle on it. Next we have our first Catlin knife, our smaller of the 2 that are in the kit. Now this particular one, rather than doing a slot, they actually notched it out so that you will not be able to see any of the actual blade itself back through here. It's notched into the wood with the checkering and the ebony handle. Our larger Catlin knife, the same thing there, it's notched into the wood rather than being slotted. Our smaller of the two liston knives, and our largest liston knife. Now overall, the kit itself is a very nice kit. I was able to pick this up on eBay a while back when I first started doing the medical portion of the hobby, and it has served me well over the last year and a half or so. Overall, its construction is very nice. The box is nice. It's definitely a great starter kit. Blades are basically inserted where they will not wobble a lot. They seem pretty sturdy. And I would definitely recommend, if you're able to pick up one of these kits for less than the retail price, to definitely look into it for those who are definitely starting into the hobby. This kit will retail you approximately $1,300 from Mill Creek Direct. However, if you keep an eye out on eBay, you should be able to find this for under $1,000. Now let's move this kit to the side, and let's look into our Ed Archer kit. Now the Ed Archer kit that I have, I just recently purchased, is very, very similar to that of the Mill Creek kit. According to Mr. Archer himself, he is pretty sure that it's a 3rd edition kit made in the early 2000s. And as you can see in this particular kit, it is very, very similar. It has the nice teak box, the latches, and it does have the brass plate, which I have not had a chance to engrave yet and insert. This kit is in practically brand new condition when I purchased it. I was very fortunate to find this on Facebook. So definitely keep your eyes open, as these items do come up from time to time. Now let's open it up, and you'll be able to see that it's pretty similar in its contents. Now this particular kit does stick a little bit when trying to open it. Now, as you can see, you can already see a difference in the two kits. First off will be Ed Archer's company name, E.G. Archer and Son, in Knoxville, Tennessee. He has a very nice, what feels to be a metal type plate that is fastened into the felt of the case. And you can see it's got a maroon colored inside felt versus the green of Mill Creek. So, what we'll do is we will take a look inside this kit, and we'll do some comparisons as far as the instruments go. So behind the first top compartment will be similar to that of the Mill Creek kit. You'll have your capital amputation saw. And as you can see, or hopefully can see on the video, it has a much duller finish to it versus that of the Mill Creek kit. The bottom saw being Mill Creek and the top saw being that of Ed Archer. And you can see too that the Mill Creek saw is a little bit shorter in length than that of the Archer kit. And also it appears that the Archer saw has rivets at the top versus the Mill Creek kit, one that does not. Overall, weight-wise, they both feel about the same, and they're both pretty much the same design, front and back. One thing I will point out, on this particular kit that I purchased, the majority of the instruments do not have the Archer engraving on them, similar to that of the Mill Creek. So we have our capital saw, we have our smaller saw, once again, pretty similar to that of the Mill Creek kit. So we'll do another comparison here. So as you can see, the two in comparison here, top one being that of the Archer kit, the bottom one being of the Mill Creek. Similar handle design, similar blade design. Biggest difference there being, once again, one has the maker's mark on it, belonging to Mill Creek, and the Archer kit does not. In my opinion, the one made by Archer feels a little bit stronger than the one made by Mill Creek. It seems to be a thicker piece of metal, versus this is very, very flimsy. So that would be one drawback to the Mill Creek kit versus that of the Archer. As you can see, not nearly as much wobble to that. Now the bandage scissors are pretty similar. The only main difference I can see is it may just be the age of the kit that I bought, or it could just be the difference in the metals made. The Archer bandage scissors do appear to be a duller metal than that of the Mill Creek kit. But aside from that, there's not a whole lot of main difference there, except for at the very bottom you can see one's a thicker guide on it for the bandages than the other one, and that would be the Archer kit has the thicker piece. I'll do my best here not to mix up these components and these instruments. Now as far as the file goes, this is the file from the Ed Archer kit and the file from the Mill Creek kit. In comparison, you can see that the one found in the Archer kit is slightly smaller and doesn't have as much of a triangular tip on it as that of the Mill Creek kit. Aside from that, the checkering is almost identical, and as I said before, the one from the Archer kit is definitely smaller. Now in this particular kit, if you can see, we'll zoom in here, there are no tissue forceps or an area to put these, so that would be definitely something you would have to add on if you wish to do so. But it does come with a director, and the director is slightly smaller by just a little bit, the bottom being our Archer one and our top being our Mill Creek. And you can see the differences there in the pattern. Now this particular director does have the markings of E.G. Archer and Sons on it. And this kit also has a Needleton probe. And this one is almost identical to that of the Mill Creek one. Same length, and the bulbs on the end are the same thickness as well. Now moving into our top tray, this particular kit does not come with an open ring set of forceps like the Mill Creek one does. So now there's two differences between this kit and Mill Creek. There's two instruments that it's missing, which was by design by this kit. First off, we have our straight forceps, similar in design to that of the Mill Creek kit. Next we have our straight scissors, once again similar in design. The piece that really stood out to me the most as a significant difference is the bullet forceps. This is the Ed Archer one. It is slightly smaller than that of the Mill Creek one. I actually prefer this one now after feeling it and handling it and using it in my mannequin. Testing it out, it definitely does have a nicer feel to it. It's not nearly as heavy, and it's definitely a lot easier to use. It doesn't stick as much. And it could just be the fact that this has been used harder than what mine has been from the Mill Creek kit. But the main difference here, the Mill Creek being on the left and your Archer being on the right, you can see that the tips for extraction are different sized. One is larger than the other, the Ed Archer being smaller, the Mill Creek being the larger one. And the handles, once again, Archer on the right and Mill Creek on the left. You can see the checkering is different. Aside from that, the construction is similar. Definitely a difference in the finish of metal. The Archer kit is a duller finish of metal, and the Mill Creek is a more polished metal. Now this kit did come with a brass nameplate for on top, which I'll eventually have engraved with U.S. Hospital Department or some type of configuration for that. The suture needles come in a nice little paper packet, similar to that found in the original kits. And this particular kit, where it actually did come originally, or if it was an add-on piece by the original owner, did come with either tissue extractors or post-mortem. Pull the tissue back, or it could also be for veins, depending on if it was post-mortem. I'm not 100% sure on this. I'm not an expert in this particular field, but if any of you out there watching this are, feel free to comment in the section below. Now moving into the rest of the top section here, we have, in this particular kit, 4 scalpels. And these scalpels are all very similar to that of the Mill Creek kit. The only main difference I see is their better quality, both in the metal and the way the handle is applied. Now it is a notched in handle, so you can see the metal portion sticking out past the paint, which they did paint over that. But overall it's a very nice quality. That's your smaller straight. We have our slightly curved, a longer straight scalpel, and another curved. Kit comes with 3 tenaculums of varying sizes and angles of the hook. Once again, they're slotted into the handle itself. Overall, very nice design, very sturdy. Will definitely hold up for several years to come for living histories. And the last one, which is a side angled. Now moving to the bottom section, we'll see some differences here. We have our suture threads, once again with Archer's name on the bottom. And the only thing I saw here, it may have just been a mistake, or it could just been something to save some costs maybe on manufacturing. You'll see one says pure silk and one says pure silver. This pure silver is a decal placed over the pure silk, so he must have had just one suture card made for everything and just used a sticker to go over top of it. But other than that, very nice quality, similar to that of the Mill Creek Mercantile. The bone brush, pretty much the same bone brush as what's in the other kit. We'll pull them up here for comparison. The Archer is on the left and the Mill Creek is on the right. The only difference there that I can foresee is the Archer one is larger than the Mill Creek one. And this particular kit came with 2 field tourniquets, very similar to that of Mill Creek's. The Archer kit, the Archer one being on the left and Mill Creek being on the right. And as you can see, the buckles are slightly different. The Mill Creek one is larger than that of the Archer kit. Now as far as the pettit tourniquet, this is where the difference lies. Very nice construction on this, very heavy, very durable, a very nice turn to it. And the piece that I mentioned earlier that separates this one from the Mill Creek kit is the pressure point. The screw bolt extractor, very similar in construction. Once again, a very dull finish paint to it, which I really like myself. And the tips are pretty much the same. And I'll give you a comparison here. Archer being on the left and Mill Creek being on the right. Main differences there, it's an all steel body on it, and this one has a piece of brass at the top for Mill Creek. First up, we have our Phalange knife or saw, and this one actually has a inserted blade into it. And we'll pull out the Mill Creek one for comparison. And this is also another difference in construction. This one feels a lot stronger, with just a smidge of a wobble to it. But the Mill Creek one, as you can see on your right, and the Archer on your left, both about the same thickness and handles. The Archer one does have a longer handle, And the Mill Creek one, the shaft comes all the way back through the handle and is riveted into place, whereas the Archer one is actually inserted. Next up, we have our first Catlin knife. Very nice reproduction indeed. This one's also inserted into the handle itself and notched in. And for comparison, the Mill Creek. And our larger Liston. And the larger Mill Creek Liston. I'm sorry, that was the Catlin knife. Now for our Listons. First up, the smaller Liston knife. Once again, and inserted into the handle blade. And we'll find the Mill Creek one here. And the Mill Creek one. And the last piece of this particular kit, the largest Liston knife. Both very similar in construction. Same deal where the blade is inserted into the handle, same with the Mill Creek one. And overall, very good quality. So, hopefully that informed everyone a little bit more as far as the differences between the two kits. I know a lot of us as reenactors don't ever have the chance to go out and view both kits at the same time, and I'm very fortunate this time to have both kits in my home before selling the Mill Creek kit. So I wanted to take an opportunity to do a comparison video between the two different kits. So if you have any questions or anything at all, comment below and we can make an additional video to look at more details if you'd like to do so, or I can take up some close-up photos as well too. The last thing we're going to look at, since we do have it, I have one in my collection, is we're going to look into the Ed Archer pocket kit, and I believe it's a Type 1. If I'm mistaken, please comment below and correct me for that. So we'll just move some things out of the way here. And let's get the camera down on our table. Alright, so here's our pocket kit by Ed Archer. It has the U.S. Hospital Department engraved brass plate on top, locking mechanism on the front, a very nice little case for it. And inside, now when I purchased this particular kit from another reenactor, I don't believe it was ever used. It's in very, very nice condition. No rust, and looks like it was hardly ever used. So the first particular piece in this kit is the bone file. And it comes with a pair of straight forceps and a pair of scissors, straight. Comes with a field tourniquet, suture card with black silk thread, and some suturing needles. This particular one comes with 2 tenaculums with a wood grain stained handle. Very nice reproduction. And it also comes with 2 scalpels. A curved scalpel and a straight. And this particular kit, since it is a pocket kit, it does come with a small flange saw and a small Liston knife. which comes also with a handle with a screw on it. And you can see the very nice detail it would put into this. A heart-shaped screw onto it. Once again, the manufacturer's engraving on it. And it just inserts into that. And we're all set. And the last piece in this particular kit is a Needleton probe. And as you can see, it has a square bottom to it, which can be inserted into the wooden handle as well. So that is pretty much it. That explains our two different kits, our Ed Archer kit and our Mill Creek Capital kits, as well as a bonus of our Ed Archer pocket kit. I hope everyone finds this video very informative. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to comment below, and we'll continue making these videos if you find interest in it. So if there's anything you'd like to learn more about as far as Civil War medicine and Civil War surgery, feel free to comment below, and I'll work with my partners in the hobby and we'll decide to make some more videos for you. Once again, my name is Andre Wagner. I portray Major William Watson of the 105th Pennsylvania. I'm a Civil War living historian here in central Pennsylvania. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day. Thank you.